Thursday, March 31st. All board members are present. We will go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll approve the agenda or any changes to the agenda. Hearing none, we'll move on to any conflicts of interest disclosures or waiver.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
We need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second it. Moved by Mahoney and second by Neville to approve the agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, now we'll move on to any conflicts of interest disclosures or waiver requests. Hearing none, we'll go on to correspondence. Any input from our superintendent or principals or administration? Otherwise, we'll hold it for our regular scheduled board meeting. All right, we'll open it up to any public commentary. We'll open it up to the public if anyone wants to say anything.
Do you want to address
Go ahead.
masks?
Oh, okay.
We can go ahead. It is under our action items to discuss the mask mandate. If you would like, if everyone's here to talk about masks, we can just carry it into our action items, if that's okay with you. Is everyone here for masks? Yeah, okay, great. All right, so under action items is to approve contracts and the mask mandate. In front of us, we have contracts for approval under Noah Larson for band instructor, $41,369. Tracy Hengelfeld, elementary instructor, $12,165. Adam Fisher for the elementary principal, and it should say activities director, and that's $78,150. Aaron Geidel for a paraprofessional for $11.88 per hour. Colleen Meddy for drama, additional duty is $2,427. And Eric Norden for the head girls golf for $3,465. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second it, Craig.
Moved by Leishman, second by Prohl. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, next on their action items is to talk about the mask mandate.
So I have some new information I wanted to share with the board, and then maybe the public can chime in with whatever they have to say. So last board meeting, you know, when we reported to you, it had been 3 months. We hadn't had a case in school. We hadn't had a close contact, and there was minimal spread in the community and in Hutchinson County. Since then, things have changed significantly. Hutchinson County is now substantial spread. We've had 5 or 6 positive cases. 5, 6.
4 on my end.
You've had 5, he's had 1. 6
Yeah,
total,
one staff.
6 cases, and then I don't know how many close contacts we've sent home, but it's been 20 plus. I've told you, and I shouldn't say that, I've said several times that our problem was going to be in the high school because we had no way to isolate kids and keep them from interacting with each other in this environment. And that's where we ran into the problem with the close contacts. And I just don't see a way that we can solve that other than to require 7 through 12 to wear masks. Our elementary, I'll leave it up to the board what you want to do, but we haven't had a problem. We've had 1 student there, no close contacts as a result of that student. Parents have done a wonderful job. They actually caught the student, didn't even send him to school. And so they've been home the whole time. And I still believe that we can contain classrooms. Those kids do not interact with other classrooms. They moved as a group. And I still think that we can contain it there. Now, I don't know what the board wants to do, but we are comfortable leaving pre-K through 6 as is for now, with the caveat that should we feel the need to require masks there too, we'd ask that the board approve that tonight to give us that flexibility in the future if we feel it's necessary. If it's not, wonderful. We won't use it. But I don't want to call a special meeting in 2 weeks if that's what, if that's the route you decide to go. We have 6 weeks left to get through. I know these girls out here would like to say a few things to you, so that's what I've got. Things have changed since our last meeting.
Thank you, Shane. We'll go ahead, and anyone want to speak?
I guess, I'm here to speak for the senior class, but not only the senior class, for the HOSA members, FCCLA, FFA, FBLA, baseball, track. We have made it this far. We made it through wrestling, we made it through basketball. And we did that because we wore these masks in school the whole time. And now things have obviously changed. We are a week away from prom. We are month and a half away from graduation. Baseball's about to have their first game next week, I believe. Track next week. We go to state HOSA next week. State FFA goes the Monday after prom. FCCLA. We are so close to finishing up what we have been working for since August. HOSA has been working on organizations, projects since August. FFA has been working on projects, like everything since August. Same with FCCLA. They have worked so hard. These students have done so many projects. FCCLA, they did the Taylor project. HOSA has done blood drives. And we were able to do that because we wore these masks. Once you put the mask mandate in, we weren't sending as many kids home because we were protected by our mask. And as a senior, I would like to have my senior prom and be able to have an audience there and to have friends from out of town come to watch us. And not only for prom, but graduation. I can speak for the senior class saying we all want to have our graduation in the Armory with our family. Like it's I don't know how to say it, like our last hurrah at the school besides prom. And I know our student body president, Logan Heidinger, he talked to some of the lower underclassmen, you could say, and he did say they would all agree that putting the masks back into place would be good because we wouldn't get FFA taken away or prom taken away. Because we've come this far, and to get that taken away it would hurt a lot. Because I'm not the only one. I just got my grad invites in. We've planned graduation parties. We got prom stuff, and not only have the students been working hard, but Mrs. Meddy, she has worked so hard on prom and play, and to get that taken away would hurt really bad. And if we can help that and not get that taken away by wearing a mask, why wouldn't we do that? If we can keep these things, why wouldn't we want to do that?
And I think the other important thing to remember is that these seniors last year we didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't have a chance to get out in front of it the way that we do now. In the span of less than 2 weeks after we take this mask mandate off, we've got over 20 kids close contact quarantines and 6 positives within our school. And I'm not trying to say that I don't believe in coincidences. I'm just saying that if this might be a chance for us to get out in front of it and stop things from going wrong again, we might have a chance to have these kids that, like Maggie said, have been working on this from the beginning of the year on. Athletics may be closing out, but we've got academic organizations that have been working just as hard to see their results now. And to have that taken away is just, I feel like if we have a chance to stop that from getting taken away, I would personally speaking, like Maggie said, for the remainder of the senior class, that why wouldn't we do that,
And track, they have amazing runners. To get quarantined before state and they have a possible chance of winning state, it'd be crushed. And I think students in the high school would wear a mask if they could. They'd wear a mask knowing it would benefit more than just one person. Because wearing a mask, it benefits the whole high school event.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? All right, Mr.
I would
Morgan?
just like to throw in on top of it. Logan did call me just before the meeting. He was planning on coming. He had another thing that kind of popped up, and he felt really bad because he wanted to be here. He is our student council president. He mirrored a lot of what Maggie was saying, and he said he'd talked to a lot of the younger classmen too, not all of them, but that was kind of their general belief as a group, was that for 6 weeks it wouldn't be that big of a deal to put them on, even for the ones who don't like it. And you know, their goal was just to be able to do the things that they want to do to be high school students. And that's how he kind of wanted to end it. So I'm Logan right now, just kind of giving you that information from him.
Thank you, Mr. Norden. I also just want to comment that I received numerous emails and texts and IMs from fellow parents and even teachers. Also, everyone wants the mask mandate reinstated that reached forward and contacted me as well. So I'm really proud of you students for coming tonight and speaking to the board. You know, this directly affects you, and I'm pleased to hear that this means enough to you that you would come to the board and speak tonight. So whatever the outcome of our vote coming up, continue to carry this outside of the school for the rest of the year, because we can only control so much that's happening in the school. But the way you're going to stay well is by keeping your distance when you guys are in groups outside the school as well. So thank you again for coming forward. And saying that, I don't want to continue to spend too much time on this, but I do want to open it up for a vote from the board members tonight. The vote is going to be, do we leave the current mask mandate as it is, or do we vote to have masks reinstated 7th through 12th grade? Elementary, leave it as it is, which is pre-K to 6th grade. And then also with the caveat that this be in place for the rest of the school year, not to have any further discussions on it. And then we'll leave the flexibility with the administration if they need to tighten the policy in the elementary and go from the open policy to mask mandate as well. So that's the current one on the table. We can open it up if anyone wants something different, if you want masks throughout the entire school period. I'm just going to kind of go around, throw it out there, and then we'll see. We'll start with you, Jill, since you're the youngest.
Great. Since I'm not the oldest, that's good.
I'll take that.
I guess for me, I mean, there are plenty of kids in high school who have siblings in elementary school. For me, it feels like they should be on both ends. I realize that we can separate and do all those things, but all those kids who are going home to their families where their high school siblings are at, we're an example of that. So if Bert gets quarantined and he's at home and Maya gets sick from him, how is that any different? I mean, I guess she wears a mask to school, but for me, I would prefer it be across the school. I don't really see any barrier. I think the kids did it most of the year. It's 6 weeks. I don't know why we wouldn't. We knew there was probably going to be a spike at this time of the season. We've been predicting that since the start. So I guess I don't see it getting better. It's definitely gotten worse. And I would prefer it be throughout the school.
All right, thank you, Jill. Jim?
I'd be in favor of what Shane brought up. The 7th through 12th, I think, is just, not a problem whatsoever. I still thinking on the elementary side of it, because there's been so limited cases, I don't know the science on it, but it just doesn't seem like they contracted or get it away as well as people that are a little bit older. Instructionally, I still think it makes a lot more sense for those younger kids to not have to wear masks. So yeah, I would be in favor, but I agree. I mean, to leave it to administration, if it does start to make any kind of a rise or change, to automatically put a mask mandate, I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Thank you, Jim. Matt, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with that plan. Monday when we started talking about this, I thought we were jumping the gun, and then you just keep watching the numbers every day, and it's pretty dramatic. So, yeah, I'd be fine with the plan that Shane presented. And one clarification I would like to get would maybe be on the 7 through 12 close contact. The recent close contacts that were sent home, was that because just there was the outbreak within the class, or was that because they weren't wearing masks at times?
That was because of the 2 within the class. Within the policy itself, it stated if there were 2 within a class, then close contacts would be sent home.
Okay.
That's one of the adjustments that would be made if we were all masked up. The close contacts now change from 6 to 3 feet if you're masked up, and there are certain things that come from that. But that's, to answer your question, that's why that occurred.
Yeah, because before we made any changes, if my memory serves correctly, if we made the change earlier that if both parties were masked, the sick and close contacts, that the close contacts would remain in class, correct?
I believe that's how we were doing it, yes. What we're seeing, though, we were seeing a lot of lazy mask wearing, if you will. It's down here, and it's like this, and that doesn't do any good.
Nope.
And what we found from teachers was it's really hard for teachers to try to identify one who's wearing it appropriately. Where is 6 feet at? How long were they? It was hard for them, and quite frankly, this makes it a lot easier for them to make those determinations.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt. Mr. Prohl?
Thanks, Barb. Well, I haven't changed my opinion from last month. I think I was pretty vocal from the standpoint of I never wanted to lift the mask mandate. Certainly I don't see the crowd that was here last month here. All of a sudden, now that we've had a little change, I don't see the people coming here and talking about their different theories. So what I got from Avera, and we all did last month, nothing's changed from that. Avera said, from the medical staff, in addition to keeping our children and staff in school, the mask mandate affects our community at large. The school has the most people underneath one roof in our community on any given day. Therefore, what happens in the school does matter for our community. And then they talk about that even at this point in time, Mormon Manor doesn't let visitors in because the monitor has not gotten below 10% to allow that. So we understand, this is Avera now, so we understand this is an inconvenience. We feel the benefits outweigh the risks. We as medical providers have seen no adverse events in our children locally. We have not had a single emergency room or clinic visit with a medical diagnosis secondary to masking. So the kids haven't had any side effects as much as the people last month were trying to tell us. So we also have not diagnosed one case of influenza or RSV to date, meaning that masks work. Because you don't have flu, you don't have the colds. Wonder. So, lastly, masking has kept the students in school and able to participate in extracurricular events, which is extremely important to our children's well-being and education. That's why you're here today. So that's from our medical staff. Our schools our size and higher haven't taken it off except us, and we found out what happened. parents at home, just as now these 20 kids that went home, a lot of them have to miss work because somebody's got to take care of the kids. That isn't good financially for any family situation out here. We're trying to prevent that. It seems to me the parents are more concerned about the mass of elementary kids. The kids weren't. I have talked to numerous staff, numerous principals. The kids aren't complaining, but the parents are. And that's elementary parents. Teachers. We had a survey of the teachers. 70-some% of the teachers said we want to keep the masks. We're concerned about our health and we're concerned about the kids' health. So that's been evident all the way along. So it's our job here as a board to protect the kids, the staff, and the community. And so, yeah, the mask mandate ought to go back on. Never should have been taken off. So, I personally care about the community. I think you know the numerous boards that I have served on for numerous years and continue to. And I think personally on our situation today, I'm in Jill's camp. I think it all go back on initially, elementary and high school. We've got a board meeting in 2 weeks. Let's see what happens at that point in time, and if we think we're cool with the elementary, then we can back it off. But at this point in time, we're going up. It's my opinion.
Thank you, John.
Certainly.
I would like to hear from Mr. Yost before I render my opinion. You know, right now on the table we have split on, do we put the masks on for the entire school or do we just put it on for 7 through 12? So I would really like to hear your thoughts, what you think about that aspect of it. Not so much the high school, because I think we're all pretty clear where we want to go on that. If you would.
Yeah, really, you know, again, pardon I'm losing my voice, by the way, so. But I was tested and I'm negative, so I had to tell everybody that. You know, really, again, I think the staff was highly, obviously, from the survey. I mean, they definitely were in favor, you know, of the masking. I don't, again, from my standpoint, as far as, I really don't, it doesn't bother the kids. And if that's what, you know, if that's kind of the decision swayer, the kids have been awesome throughout this entire, I guess it is a adventure, you know, that we've been on this year. So, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, you know, so I can't really visit that realm at all. Again, like Anna said over there, is this a coincidence? I don't know, but we definitely have seen numbers, you know, on the rise here since we took it off. So, you know, again, my job is to carry out what the board wishes here, and that's, yeah, I don't know if I can sway, you know, I guess it's not my job to sway board members in any direction here, and that's why you get paid the big bucks, you know, to do what you do.
You're really good at walking the line. That was amazing.
Politically, I've worn a mask since it wasn't cool, you know, so I mean, personally, you know, I'm that guy that's wearing a mask still when people aren't wearing masks in places, so.
That was no help whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know what, yeah. So, sorry, Madam President, I really don't have a great answer, but I can tell you that our elementary has been awesome at carrying out the mission of the board. And I can't, my staff and my students have been wonderful. So, I don't think, you're not gonna get pushback either direction that we go, I will tell you that.
Okay.
But I agree, Matt. It's been a team effort here.
Yeah.
And we went to bend where we were at without everybody stepping up and doing what they did. And thank God we got to this point through everybody's cooperation. And I personally applaud, again, the people coming out tonight. I want to finish out the year too with kids in school.
All right. I want to just address, the group of parents that have previously attended on the math subject. And I want to say, I just want to reiterate that we tried. We gave it the benefit of the doubt. We gave it an effort to try without the masks. And I would agree that it didn't work. So whether it's science or politics or whatever you want to chalk it up as, I agree we need to go back to masks. And that it needs to be for the rest of the year with no further discussion. So even to come to future board meetings, it's not going to matter. I think if we reinstate this, it's going to be for the rest of the school year. I also want to say that we received several, we being all of the board members, from some staff as well as many parents. And I'm just going to throw this out, that one of the teachers alluded to the fact that a lot of our students in the high school weren't wearing masks in the hallway, even though that was our policy. And when asked to put them on, they were either ignored or flat out told no, that they weren't going to do that. And that is not acceptable. So I'm asking everyone who's listening to this, whether you agree with the mask mandate or not, whether you're the students, whether you're the parents or the providers, our policy is policy. And if you can't adhere to it, then maybe you want to homeschool your children for the rest of the school year. Because if we put the mask mandate back in place, it's to be followed. And I cannot even imagine that there's a student anywhere, especially in this community, that would tell an adult or a teacher no when they're asked to do something legitimately. So I wanted to address that, because when I read that, I honestly couldn't believe that. So let's nip that in the bud right now. I'm going to hold you seniors. I assume you're all seniors. You need to help that out too. When you see people in the hallways, your fellow classmates, you need to remind them, put those masks up. Wear it properly. I agree, I want you to finish the school year. I want you to have your prom, I want you to have your graduation, and I want all of your programs to be able to finish a strong year. And I think the only way we can do that is by wearing our masks, wearing it properly, including when you're outside of the school. So my vote would be to go back to the masks for the entire school and finish the year out, and I don't want to have any further discussions on it personally. And that would be my vote. But we need to take a group vote. So it's...
No, and I agree, Mark. I mean, if it makes sense, and yes, I do. I mean, if we want to wait, or not wait, close it out. If I'm hearing that it's not that big of a deal, my understanding was the elementary side was more of an instructional side that made more sense, but if it's not, I'm not gonna...
Well, and just clarification, yeah, there's still times for that instructional, that if they can socially distance, they're able to do that in the elementary. We're able to take them down, and I think we've done a good job of, the teachers policing that, so.
Yeah, I just think it avoids a lot of confusion on when you're wearing a mask, who's wearing the masks. Just everybody wear the masks. Let's get through this year. Our seniors, if no one else, our seniors deserve to finish strong and to have the experiences of a senior year. And so that would be my vote. I'm going to open it up. Let's just say all in favor of mask mandate being reinstated previously for the entire school. Raise your hand. All right. So that's all 5 board members. So I need a motion to accept. And a second.
I'll second it.
Moved by Neville and seconded by Poole to reinstate the mask mandate for all grade levels for the remainder of the school year. Do we still need to give the administration any?
There's no other flexibility needed. We're wearing them to the end of the year.
Okay, so I said mask mandate.
We don't want to
for
talk
all
about it
grade
again.
levels For the remainder of the school year. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, hearing no other business, I will adjourn the meeting at 7 o'clock.
Need a motion? Moved by Leishner. Second by Mahoney to adjourn. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Motion carried.
Thank everyone for attending. We appreciate it. And good luck with the rest of your school year.